Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Drawing with Mr. Sepulveda. I'm Mr. Sepulveda, and in today's episode, the Draw Jar series is back in effect with episode 5. For all of you guys that are new to this channel, the Draw Jar series is essentially what my students want me to draw. I've got a jar at home with student art suggestions that I draw from on a regular basis, and I give myself a 1 hour time frame to draw what they want me to draw. And so for this first suggestion that I've got for you, it's from a student that would like for me to draw a dog going crazy. And so I thought this was a funny drawing prompt for me to take on. And so the first thing that I thought of was trying to draw a dog kind of in a straitjacket, right? When you think about people going crazy, you think about those padded rooms. And what's really funny about this is I did a prompt for a mermaid challenge in which I turned a merman or merperson, if you will, with the crazy prompt, and I put him upside down on a fish hook in a straitjacket. So I was kind of drawing inspiration from that past art piece that I did a while back. And so that's kind of how it came about this drawing. It didn't honestly take me too long, maybe roughly 30 minutes out of the hour, but I think it turns out pretty cool. I think it turns out pretty funny. And again, like this Draw Jar series is all about putting smiles onto kids' faces or onto people's faces, as you'll see with the second selection. And I'm hoping whoever chose this first selection honestly finds it to be a really good art piece, because I think, honestly, this was a fun one to draw. I think it was one of my favorites in the batch, but it wasn't my absolute favorite. I think I reserved that one for the last one. But ultimately, I think the energy in this one just screams fun, and I hope you actually enjoy this. I'm going to let this continue playing, and I'll talk to you about the second selection in just a moment. All right, now it's time for suggestion number 2, and this one actually doesn't come from a student. This one comes from Mrs. Joelle. She's my teaching partner. She teaches ELA and social studies at W.R. Odell Elementary School, and she's a huge Bills fan, and her suggestion was for me to draw her at a Buffalo Bills game. Now, honestly, guys, I only got 1 hour to draw all these, and so the best way that I could figure out in my head to do this was to kind of have Mrs. Joelle kind of do a selfie in the middle of the stadium and just kind of blur out the background with all the fans, and I even put a random person, we'll just call him a rando, right, that has a Let's Go Bills poster that's kind of hanging up, that's kind of blocking out the rest of the field, because I didn't want to mess around too badly with the perspective, but I think it comes out kind of cool. I'm not sure if it really looks like her. If you guys are a student in her class, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. If it kind of looks like her, maybe resembles her, probably the answer is no, right? I'll let you guys decide on this one, but I think this was cool. I think this was interesting because it definitely pulled me out of my element, especially when I had to think about perspective and the selfie and what kind of angle the photo is being taken in. And then I think the biggest challenge here, and you guys know this, I struggle with drawing females. I think I've only drawn like one female character that I really like, and that was part of the human body systems as superheroes, right, that my students had created, where I was drawing Electress, and I think that one I hit the nail on the head with. So I'm hoping as I go forward, obviously this one was an hour, and what I spent on that piece was roughly 3 to 4, right, somewhere in there when I was drawing for that episode. But I think this came out all right. Had issues with the lips. Don't know why I was struggling so hard, but I think it was a fun piece. Mrs. Joelle, if you are subscribed to this channel, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. Let me know what your honest opinion is about this art piece. I'm going to let this continue, and I'll talk to you guys when we get to suggestion number 3. Alright guys, and that brings us to our final drawing suggestion for our draw jar, and it was to draw a grave with a zombie hand poking out. I think this was a really fun suggestion, a really fun concept. It ends up being my favorite one in the entire batch. In my mind, I already knew I wanted to draw a zombie hand poking out from some fresh soil with a missing finger and maybe some patchy skin, and kind of do the same thing to a foot trying to kick out of the dirt with the same type of patchy skin that's decaying. I really wanted to go a little bit more illustrative and a lot more loose than I'm used to. You'll notice that I don't really zoom in a whole bunch on this art piece. Instead, I just kind of leave the camera zoomed out and I just kind of go at it with a G pen for all my lining and all the small details. So I just used the one brush the entire way through. And then I used a lasso tool to do all my colors. I also used the lasso tool to give some darker shading and things like that. But I ultimately don't use a multiply layer like I normally do for it, with the exception of using maybe a airbrush for the soil just to kind of give it a little bit of shadow. And of course, since it's in a cemetery graveyard type of thing, I kind of wanted this one to be a little bit happier than a little bit darker. And so I kind of make the background a little bit brighter. You guys just let me know what you guys think about this zombie piece, and I'm just going to let this keep rolling until the end. Well, there you have it, guys. This was another fine episode of the Draw Jar series where I was able to draw student suggestions, and in this one we obviously have the dog going crazy, Mrs. Joelle at a Bills game, and a grave with a zombie hand poking out. Guys, I think this was a fun one. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Please leave a like as well. Comment down below which one of these was your favorite, and I'll see you all next Tuesday in our next video.